Well, folks, we've been doing all these videos about how to apply and hopefully draw tags in all these western states. Today we're going to do what I think is the most complicated state of them all, Montana. And I'm a resident. We're standing in Montana right now. So I apologize in advance that our state has made this ridiculously complex for all of you. But when we're all done, hopefully you're going to find a way to come elk hunting every year, whether it's Montana or somewhere else. Because Montana has some phenomenal elk hunting. And you've heard me say in other prior videos how these application strategy articles from goHunt are worth their weight. Worth every dime you pay. Well, when it comes to Montana, goHunt, its application strategy, and then the overview of how the system works. They have everything in here about understanding the draw, the non-resident tag allocation. It's definitely worthwhile, but I'm going to explain it to you right now as best I can. So as a non-resident, the first thing you have to do is acquire a general license, either a deer license or an elk license. So that's the first part of the Montana draw. And if you acquire a general deer or a general elk license, then you're allowed to apply for limited entry permits, which is the second part of the draw. So the deadline is March 15th. Every year in Montana, our elk and deer non-resident deadline and the limited entry permit deadline for both residents and non-residents is March 15th. The good news is you're going to find out your results usually by mid-April. You as non-residents have to apply and draw for one of three types of tags. Either the elk-deer combination, which the reason they call it combo is it comes with a fishing license. So that one, I think the cost is a little over $1,000. And you get a general deer tag, a general elk tag, small game, fishing, bunch of other things. Your other option is there's an elk-only license, where you don't get a deer tag with it, you just get an elk tag, and then the combination of small game and fishing. And then there's the deer-only license, which, again, doesn't come with an elk tag, but comes with the combination of fishing and small game. So you first have to draw one of those three that I just talked about, either the elk-deer combo, the elk license, or the deer license. The beauty of Montana is if you stop right there and say, look, I'm not interested in the limited entry permits, I just want to go and hunt on these general tags. Montana has 30 million acres of public land. It has another, I think, 6 or 7 million acres enrolled in the block management program, where Montana uses license dollars to go and pay private landowners if they'll open up their lands and compensate them for the impact of public hunting. We have super long seasons. You can come for the deer and elk hunting. You can come for the 6 weeks of archery. Yeah, a 6-week archery season. And then there's a week break. And then you can come for 5 weeks of rifle. So that one license, whether it's the deer license or the elk license, gives you 11 weeks of hunting if you're someone who will hunt with both archery and rifle. That's a lot of opportunity for one license. So one of the beauties of the deer tag and the elk tag as general license is that most of Montana are general units. So with that general deer or general elk license, you're going to be able to hunt most of the western part of the state, most of the southwest part of the state, and pretty much anything west of I-15. So with elk, the limited entry units that we'll talk about here in a little bit are mostly in central Montana and mostly in southeast Montana. Most of the rest of the state are your general tagged, general units that your general license would be good for. With deer, the limited entry deer units, again, we'll talk about those, but those are scattered around the state. There's some over in the Bitterroot, there's some up by Fort Peck, there's some on the Rocky Mountain front, there's some here in southwest Montana. But as a general rule, there's not that many of them. So your general deer tag is going to let you hunt most of the state, going to let you hunt for either sex whitetail in most units, and either a whitetail buck or a mule deer buck in just I think every unit I know of. The other part about that Montana deer tag is the general season of rifle is in November. These general combo tags, like I said, there's 3 of them, the elk deer combo, the elk only combo, and the deer only combo. That's on a preference point system for you non-residents. And if you go back to some of our other videos, a preference point system is you with the most points gets the tag. The first step to jump through is to acquire this general license, whether it's a deer or deer elk combo. Once you do that, and you'll see when you fill out the form, it says, if I'm successful in the drawing, please apply me for this limited entry elk tag or this limited entry deer tag. So you're kind of clearing one hurdle, the general license, and once you clear that hurdle, then you're in the game of, oh, now I can apply with the residents for these limited entry permits. With these limited entry elk permits that we're talking about that you get to apply for in this second draw, this limited permit draw, those are some of the best limited entry elk hunts in the Northern Rockies. If you go through this process and you draw your general tag, I always tell people it's worth the extra money, and it's not a lot, to apply for one of the limited entry permits. It's on a bonus point system, so you never know when your number might come up. If you want to see the odds of your number coming up based on the number of points you have, go to goHunt, sign up for the Insider, and they have the draw odds for deer and elk in Montana based on how many bonus points you have, whether you're a resident or non-resident. It is so helpful. And for those of our viewers who sign up for the Insider, and you use promo code RANDY, R-A-N-D-Y, you're going to get $50 of free credit in the goHunt gear shop. All right, so now we're going to assume that you drew the deer elk combo tag. You went all in, you got the whole package, and you drew. So now that you drew that, you can go into the limited entry permit drawing for these few deer units that are limited entry, or these elk units that are limited entry. And you're going to go into that drawing and you're going to compete with residents like me for up to 10% of these limited entry permits. Not saying that non-residents will get 10%, they're capped at up to 10%. And I told you earlier that your general tags as non-residents, you're applying on a preference point system. This is a bonus point system. And to complicate it even more, we square the bonus points. So if this is your first year in, this is the first time you've ever done it, you have 0 bonus points, so 0 squared is still 0, and you've got 1 for your current year entry. Let's say I've got 5 bonus points. So I'm going in the drawing, I'm going to get assigned 5 squared is 25, plus my 1 entry from this year. I'm going to get assigned 26 random numbers compared to your 1 random number. You could still draw, but probability says I've got a 26 times better chance that my random numbers are going to be lower than yours. Now, if you get into the central part of Montana, the eastern part or the southeastern part, just about all of those permits around the Missouri River breaks, the Big Snowy Mountains, the Custer National Forest area, all of that stuff is on limited entry draw. So with that, if you want to go and hunt one of those areas, you got to download the booklet from the Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks website. See what hunt code they have for whatever hunt it is that you want to look at or apply for. Put that on your application and off you go. Pay close attention to what it says for each hunt code, because some of those hunt codes are archery only for elk. Don't apply for an archery only elk in the limited entry draw if you're a rifle hunter. Or don't apply that if you say, well, I like to use bow, so if I don't get one with my bow, I'll come back with my rifle. With our limited entry deer permits in Montana, The intent isn't to grow big trophy humongous bucks like maybe in other states that you might be accustomed to, where there's just a few units of limited entry deer hunting. In Montana, the purpose behind it is mostly to provide a higher quality experience. Don't think of Montana, a state where we hunt deer in the rut with a rifle, as having a huge age class. You just can't get that kind of age class when you are hunting bucks at their most vulnerable time. We have a lot of deer. We have some nice deer. And occasionally there's some guys who figured out how to find a really, really nice deer consistently. But deer hunting in Montana is mostly about coming out and just having a blast. So there you have it, folks. In Montana, you as non-residents have two draws. You have the drawing to get your general tag, either a deer or elk or an elk deer combo tag, license they call it. And then, once you clear that hurdle, then you can jump into the drawing with all of us residents for the limited entry permits. I know it's complicated. If you get on the goHunt Insider, it's going to lay it out in just exacting detail of everything. And if you do, use the promo code Randy. You're going to get $50 of free credit in the goHunt gear shop. Draw your tag, come to Montana, shoot a big elk, shoot a deer, have a ton of fun, and thanks for watching.